Hey there, Drew here, and welcome back to the Drew Saur coaching channel. This is your first time here, thanks for joining us. This channel is for those of us who want to have stellar careers with a little less stress than we can, a bit more fun. My job is to bring you ideas that'll help you look at your career in a new way. I promise that if you try them out, you'll start to see the professional world differently. And more importantly, they'll start to see you differently. So this video is part of my series on persuasive storytelling. Because ultimately, to get anywhere we want in our career, we need other people along with us. So the question we're trying to answer here is, can I convince other people to join me? And what I want to focus on today is the resume, because that's one of the ultimate ways that people ask other people to join you, is to say, hey, do you want me part of your team? And you use the resume to do that. And what I want to talk about is one of the most common sort of mistakes and misconceptions about what the resume is and how to use it. Most people think of the resume as a demonstration of what I can do. Unfortunately, that's really not an effective way to think about it. Instead, you want to think about it as, here's my pitch for how I can solve your specific problem. And let me give you an analogy to help you sort of see what I'm talking about in terms of this difference. So let's say you go to a hardware store and you want to buy a hammer, right? You see a hammer on the wall, it's 20 bucks, but right next to it is a multi-pack. So it's got a hammer, it's got a screwdriver, it's got pliers, it's got a wrench, it's got a whole bunch of stuff, also for $20. Which do you buy? So if you put your kind of consumer mindset on, like, okay, you go to the store, you want a hammer, but you see this other set, you may think to yourself, oh, you know, you're right, I might need a screwdriver. I'm not really sure what this job is. Let me buy the multi-pack. And you probably think you did a great job, you bring it home, and it actually turns out to be very useful. The problem is that is not how corporations think. Corporations and sort of corporate buying, which is effectively what job hunting is. If I put a rec up there, I have a problem, and I need to buy a solution to that problem by hiring somebody to do it. So now put yourself in the hands of a hiring manager. You have a $20 budget, and it's a $20 hammer budget. You know you need a hammer. So what happens when you go into the store, you see the $20 hammer, and then you see the $20 multi-pack that also includes a hammer. Right? Now again, as a consumer, you might buy the multi-pack, but as a corporate hiring manager, you have a $20 hammer budget. You want the best hammer you can get. Chances are you actually have a separate budget for screwdrivers, a separate budget for wrenches, a separate budget for each of these things. So what you're trying to figure out is, how do I get the maximum value out of my $20 when I need a hammer? So you're going to buy the hammer. Why? Because that's what it is. It's a $20 hammer, which means it's probably pretty solid. There's a hammer in the $20 multi-pack, but it's probably a little smaller. You know, the metal's probably not quite as strong. Like, it's a hammer, it works, but it's not as strong as the hammer I can buy alone. Right, so what are you going to do? As a hiring manager, you're going to buy the hammer. So bringing that back to the resume. If I see a resume that says, I can do this, I can do that, I'm a technician, I'm a strategist, I'm a team builder, I can do anything you want me to do, you're the multi-pack. And so when somebody else comes in and says, I'm the hammer, I do technology transformations based on, you know, Java-based platforms moving to AWS, so like, that's what I do. If that is my problem, you're my hammer, and I'm going to hire you. So that's the kind of way you want to think about a resume, right? Is this idea of, what is the problem they're trying to solve, and is my resume selling me as the hammer they need to solve the problem? So when they read the resume, what you want them to do is nod their head. Okay, skill A, yep, I need skill A. Oh, they've done B, yep, I need B. They've done C, do I need C? I don't really need C. Right? Did they D? Oh, that's nice, but that's not my problem. Right? And so what you want is, every line of the resume, you want them to be nodding their head and saying, yep, 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 I need this, I need this, I need this. Anything in your resume, cool as it may be, interesting as it may be, that does not contribute to solving their problem will make them think, do I really need that? Right? Is that something extra? But if it's not solving my problem, why would I pay any money to get this extra thing that I don't really need? Right? So that's the idea. When you think about your resume, you want it to be as targeted as possible to the problem that the job is trying to solve. So what's the exercise here? The exercise is, give your resume to somebody else and ask them, 2 to 3 people, and say, what job am I applying for? Because if they can't tell what job you're applying for based on your resume, you're probably too broad. Right? You probably have a few too many things in there, and they're not very clear about what job you're trying to get. Once again, that's the multi-pack resume. And while if you have some random skill that's very hard to find, It can definitely work, but if you really want to focus in on getting the job that you want the hammer resume. You want the resume that's very, very specific based on the problem that the hiring manager is trying to solve. So there you go. Try it out in the comments. Let me know how it goes. And as always, your career is a journey, and it helps to have a partner. So rope in a friend, hire a coach, and if you have any interest in working with me, feel free to go to drewsaur.com and grab some time for us to chat. I look forward to seeing you next time.